On a Friday morning, Folake called her sister Titilayo on the phone, but she did not pick up. Instead, Titilayo's husband picked the phone and told Folake that Titilayo was busy. Few hours later, Folake called Titilayo back, but Titilayo did not pick the phone, and her husband Akolade did not pick the phone also. Later that day, Folake got a phone call from a family friend that stayed in the same area as Titilayo and her husband Akolade. The family friend informed Folake that they had just seen Akolade leaving the apartment with a cut to his arm and stains of blood on his clothes. Folake knew of the nature of Titilayo and Akolade's marriage. They were always fighting, and most times when they fight, Titilayo returns back to her family's house. Because of this, Folake was bothered, so she informed her other family members. The next day, they went to check on Titilayo to make sure Titilayo was fine, since she was not picking up her phone calls and the information that the neighbor had given her also. That same Friday of this occurrence, the police found Akolade's car parked on the road without Akolade in the car, and his key was left in the ignition. The police also noticed that there were blood stains in the car, so the police drove the car back to the station for further investigations. The next day, Titilayo's family, along with Folake, arrived at Titilayo's house to check on Titilayo, but they found out that Titilayo's door was locked. So they peeked through the window, but they could not still see anybody inside. Some people tried breaking the door, while one of the persons that were with them decided to break through the ceiling of one of Titilayo's neighbor. Then through that ceiling, he entered into Titilayo's house. On entering into the house, he found Titilayo on a matrimonial bed, lying lifeless, and she had been stabbed many times. Immediately they saw this, the police came around, and to show how bad the condition was, the police officers were very shocked with what they saw. So they took pictures of everything, carried out investigations, and carried the body for postmortem examination. The postmortem examination confirmed that this body was stabbed 76 times. Some kitchen utensils along with 4 mobile phones were found on the scene of this crime. The next day, being on a Sunday, Pastor Akolade was arrested, where he gave a very shocking confession to what had happened. Since you have watched
Welcome back to the moment of truth. This is one of the shocking story that Rock redeemed many years back, because this story is not new, but I just got it today. One of my followers sent it to me. It's a serious situation. Both families are mourning their children. Their only child, I don't know who is caring for their only child, because this guy was sent to he was given a death sentence, and this is what the shrine of Adeboye, in quest for his money, fame, wealth, connection, caused Nigerians. Stay tuned to the end, please.
Akolade Awowolo was a 31-year-old pastor. He was formerly a pastor in the Foursquare Gospel Church in Festac, but he later moved to Isolo to become a pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church. Now, Pastor Akolade and Titilayo were not supposed to get married, but sometime in 2008, when they were dating, Titilayo got pregnant for Akolade, and because of this reason, they had to get married that same year. Considering the fact that they were not meant to marry because of an unexpected pregnancy they married, you understand the reason why their marriage was not a stable one. Titilayo's colleague at work had recounted many times that Titilayo had come to work with bruises all over her body. Titilayo's dad also confirmed that Akolade had threatened to push Titilayo down from their 4-story building before. Akolade accepted that their marriage was not a perfect one. It had its flaws like other new marriages does, but he went to push the blame to Titilayo that she's so much hot-tempered. He gave instance of when they were about to give birth to their first child. His wife, Titilayo, asked him for 500k. He went ahead to tell the wife that he had just 100,000 naira. Because of this, the wife became very angry and left the house to her parents' place. He also went ahead to give another instance of when they initially got married. They were often having problems, quarrels in their marriage. So he sought advice from one of his friends. The friend advised him that each time his wife is annoyed, he should just leave the house and come back. By that time, she will be calm. So he decided to practicalize this. On one Friday evening, he went for a vigil. Instead of returning home from the vigil the next morning, he went to stay in a friend's place, hoping that, okay, his wife will be calm and she will miss him, so she will call him. But to his greatest surprise, he did not receive any call from his wife, so he decided to go home like that. On getting to the house, he saw a strange looking man in the house, and he asked his wife who that man was. His wife claimed that the man was a colleague at work, and a few minutes when he came home, the strange man left the house. He went ahead to check his wife's phone. He discovered that Titilayo had called her dad, her ex-boyfriend, and one other strange number, likely the number belonging to the strange man he had seen in the house that day when he returned. Titilayo replied that she did not have airtime to call him, and he was like, "You called these people yourself, so which airtime did you use?" Titilayo became very angry and warned Akolade not to ever search her phone again. Due to that anger fuming in Akolade, he dragged Titilayo's phone and smashed it. Titilayo did the same thing. After this clash between these two couples, as expected, Titilayo returned to her father's house again. Apart from this fight and disagreements they were having often, Titilayo's house help had once caught Akolade with another woman on her matrimonial bed. She went ahead to tell Titilayo, and Titilayo got angry, and as usual, she went back to her parents' house. Titilayo's father have confirmed that Titilayo had returned back to his house about 10 times since she got married, and each time she returns home, Akolade will come to the house, beg her for forgiveness, of which she will accept and follow Akolade back to their matrimonial house. So Akolade went ahead to give confession of what had happened. He said on 24th June 2011 was his birthday. He woke up around 3 a.m. that day to pray. After prayer, him and his wife made love and they started talking about their marriage. Then his wife promised him that she would not return to her parents' house again each time they have issues. So he went ahead to the bank to withdraw money. After withdrawing money, he went to his mechanic to help him fix his car because him and his wife had planned to use the car to go and carry their daughter from the grandmother's place on that particular day. When he returned home, he saw Titilayo already dressed. He was surprised because that was not the agreement they had. Before he left home that morning, they had the agreement that they would sit at home that day, celebrate his birthday while watching movies in the house. Because of this, they started arguing again. Akolade now reminded Titilayo of how she promised to be a better wife and actually had promised that she would stay at home with him that day. They were just arguing throughout this period and he tried calming her down. But it got worse on where Titilayo slapped Akolade, then carried a knife and started threatening him. He tried to retrieve the knife from her, but she was not successful. That was how he gained cut to his hand until both of them fell on the bed. When they fell on the bed, the knife fell from Titilayo's hand. That was when he was able to run and escape from the house. But he was trying to pass through the door, but he could not break the door down because Titilayo had earlier locked the door. He resorted to jumping from their 4-story building downstairs. According to Akolade, when he jumped from the building, that was when his mechanic arrived with his car. So he went into his car and went straight to the police station. On his way to the police station, he saw some police on the checkpoint. So he came down from his car to talk to the police. That is when he was hit by a car from behind, then became unconscious. Surprisingly, he found himself in a pit the next morning. Throughout his testimony, he claimed that he never killed Titilayo, and he said that Titilayo had stabbed herself the 76 times that she was under the influence of alcohol or possibly spiritual or mental illness. So Akolade was tried in 2012 at Ikeja High Court. During this trial, Akolade maintained his innocence, but 15 people testified against Akolade. Akolade claimed that it was the police that told him to say his wife inflicted those injuries on her body herself. But thinking of it, it's not possible for her to stab herself 76 times because she must have lost a lot of blood during those periods and become even unconscious. Akolade's parents also claimed that there was no history of domestic violence during Akolade's and Titilayo's marriage. But Titilayo's father came to contradict this claim and said that there were numerous fights during the marriage, and after this incident had occurred, Akolade's parents contacted him to drop the case and they tried to hide evidence by bribing the police to release Akolade's car and selling it to hide possible evidences. But the forensic results released by the pathologist revealed that it is impossible for Titilayo to stab herself good 76 times without being unconscious, that it is Akolade that carried out this crime. So in February 2014, Akolade was sentenced to death by hanging. In court, he was calling on his wife to come and vindicate him, where he was with his Bible, and he was also praying and singing that he cannot end this way, that God knows he is innocent.
I cannot give I cannot help myself.
Take your picture and leave now.
Jesus.
This is what many families have had experienced or still experiencing in the Church of Adeboye, Redeemed Church of Adeboye. Tell me, the story you've heard so far, what's God in that? They both were not born again. They were not born again. There were a lot of troubles. You can't even see the signs of a person of God in their lives. Yet, they were pastors, pastor and pastor's wife. They accused each other of infidelity, and yet they were Christian, born again Christian. Violence, nonsense, and rubbish. There's no God there. I said it. From day one of Adeboye, it's just Satan. Satan ruling the whole place till date. If you love yourself, you still have your life, you better run for your life. I will see you, my people, in my next video. Bye for now.